Frog and Toad Together by Arnold Lobel. Dragons and Giants. Frog and Toad were reading a book together. "The people in this book are brave," said Toad. "They fight dragons and giants and they're never afraid." "I wonder if we're brave," asked Frog. Frog and Toad looked into a mirror. "We look brave," said Frog. "Yes, but are we?" asked Toad. Frog and Toad went outside. "We can try and climb this mountain," said Frog. "That should tell us if we're brave." Frog went leaping over the rocks and Toad came puffing up behind him, and they came to a dark cave. A big snake came out of the cave. "Hello, lunch," said the snake when he saw Frog and Toad. He opened his mouth wide. Frog and Toad jumped away. Toad was shaking. "I'm not afraid," he cried. And they climbed higher, and they heard a loud noise. Many large stones were rolling down the mountain. "It's an avalanche!" cried Toad. Well, Frog and Toad jumped away. Frog was trembling. "I'm not afraid," he shouted. They came to the top of the mountain, and the shadow of a hawk fell over them. Frog and Toad jumped under a rock, and the hawk flew away. "We're not afraid!" screamed Frog and Toad at the same time. Then they ran down the mountain very fast. They ran past the place where they had saw the avalanche. They ran past the place where they saw the snake, and they ran all the way to Toad's house. "Frog, I'm glad to have a brave friend like you," said Toad, and he jumped into bed and pulled the covers over his head. "And I am happy to know a brave person like you, Toad," said Frog, and he jumped into the closet and shut the door. Toad stayed in the bed, and Frog stayed in the closet. They stayed there for a long time, just feeling very brave together. The Dark by Lemony Snicket, illustrated by John Klassen. Laszlo was afraid of the dark. The Dark lived in the same house as Laszlo. A big place with a creaky roof, smooth, cold windows, and several sets of stairs. Sometimes the Dark hid in the closet. Sometimes it sat behind the shower curtain. But mostly it spent its time in the basement. All day long, the Dark would wait in a distant corner, far from the squeaks and rattles of the washing machine, pressed up against some old damp boxes and a chest of drawers nobody ever opened. At night, of course, the Dark went out and spread itself against the windows and the doors of Laszlo's house. But in the morning, the Dark would be back in the basement where it belonged, and Laszlo would peek in at the Dark every morning. "Hi," he would say. "Hi, Dark." Laszlo thought that if he visited the Dark in the Dark's room, maybe the Dark wouldn't come visit him in his room. But one night, it did. Laszlo The voice of the dark was as creaky as the roof of the house, and as smooth and cold as the windows. And even though the dark was right next to Laszlo, the voice sounded very far away. "What do you want?" asked Laszlo. "I want to show you something," said the dark. "In here?" "No," said the dark. No, said the dark. "Downstairs." "In the basement?" "Yes," said the dark. In Laszlo's living room was the biggest window of the house, and Laszlo looked out at all the dark outside, and above him the roof creaked, and he closed his eyes, and now the dark was all Laszlo could see. No, said the dark again. "Not there. Down here." "In the basement?" asked Laszlo. "Yeah," said the dark. Well, Laszlo had never dared come to the dark's room at night. "Come closer," said the dark. And Laszlo came closer. "Even closer," said the dark. Now, you might not be afraid of the dark, but the dark is not afraid of you, and that's why the dark is always close by. The dark peeks around the corner and waits behind the door, and you can see the dark up in the sky almost every night, gazing down at you as you gaze up at the stars. And without a creaky roof, the rain would fall on your head. And without a smooth, cold window, you could never see outside. And without a set of stairs, you could never go into the basement where the dark spends its time. And without a closet, you would never have anywhere to put your shoes. And without a shower curtain, you would splash water all over the bathroom. And without the dark, everything would be light. And you would never know you needed a light bulb. "Light bulb. Bottom drawer," said the dark. "What?" Bottom drawer, said the dark. "Open the bottom drawer." "Thank you," said Laszlo. "You're welcome," said the dark. And by the time Laszlo got back into bed, the dark was no longer in his room, except when he closed his eyes to go to sleep. And the next morning, Laszlo visited the dark in the basement. "Hi," he said. "Hi, dark." But the dark didn't answer. But the bottom drawer was still open, so it looked like something in the corner was smiling. And the dark kept living with Laszlo, but it never bothered him again. The Rabbit Listened by Cory Doerrfeld. One day, Taylor decided to build something. Something new. Something special. Something amazing. Taylor was so proud. But then out of nowhere, things came crashing down. The chicken was the first to notice. "What a shame. I'm sorry this happened. Let's talk about it. Cluck, 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 cluck. But Taylor didn't feel like talking, so the chicken left. Next came the bear. How horrible! I bet you feel angry. Let's shout about it. But Taylor didn't feel like shouting, so the bear left. Well, the elephant knew just what to do. I can fix that. We just need to remember exactly the way things were. We need to remember and remember and remember. But Taylor didn't feel like remembering. So the elephant also left. One by one they came. The hyena. Let's laugh about it. The ostrich. Oh God, let's hide and pretend it never even happened. The kangaroo. Oh, what a mess. Let's just throw it all away. Let's just clean it up, throw it all away. And the snake. Let's knock somebody else's down. Let's go knock someone else's down. But Taylor didn't feel like doing anything with anybody, so eventually they all left. And Taylor was alone. In the quiet, Taylor did not even notice the rabbit. But it moved closer and closer until Taylor could feel its warm body. The rabbit sat with him in silence until Taylor said, "Please stay with me." And the rabbit listened. The rabbit listened as Taylor talked. The rabbit listened as Taylor shouted. And the rabbit listened as Taylor remembered and laughed. And the rabbit listened to Taylor's plans to hide, to throw everything away, and to ruin things for someone else. And through it all, the rabbit never left. And when the time was right, the rabbit listened to Taylor's plans to build again. "I can't wait," Taylor said. "It's going to be amazing." The Rabbit Listened by Cory Doerrfeld.